Hi guys, very welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we'll look at the two ways how to randomize geometry. What it can be useful for example, if you like to create something like this, randomize your asteroid or meteor field, or you randomize your geometry over the terrain. What is great about this setup, it doesn't matter how many objects you put as a source, it will automatically recognize the number and just scatter them randomly over the surface. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, first I explain the idea behind this. You see I have here 10 objects as a source. They are packed. If you look carefully here, you have 10 points, 10 packed points. And what we do here, we give every object a unique name. If you look at here, every object becomes a unique name. You see I have here 10 objects. I just put 3 here. You can do whatever you want here. I use 3 here because I used first the 3 setup here, but you can just specify it here. Not 3, you can put a stone here if you like. But the idea is, you see, for every object I have a unique name. On the other side, we have these points. And these points become also randomized names, but in this range. If you look at here carefully, you have here, in my case, I have 10 points now because I just scatter only 10 points. And you see, we have also 10 different points. If you, for example, make more of them, I just put 100, you will see here, you will get now the names, randomize them from each point, but they never go beyond 9 here. You see here I have my first is 0 and it never be more than 10 here. Okay, this is the idea, and then I use the copy to point node, and then I say, okay, just copy this geometry on this points and take in consideration the name attribute. What will happen, for example, if the point comes has a 3, 9, it will just grab out of this container the object with the name 3, 9 and put on this point. If you look carefully here, as a result, I just make them a little bit smaller. And you see you have here the points randomized over the surface. Okay, great. Let's build it from scratch, and I show you the two ways, one easy way and one hard way. Okay, first thing first, I like to show you how to create this source geometry. I use a sphere here. I just bump up the frequency to 20. I use a mountain node with node type set to Wall Accelerar, and I change the offset here. You see, I just copy and paste them, and I just change the offset here. You see, I have different offset here for these guys, and that's why I have a different shape of the stone here. Then I pack each of them and I merge them together. You can ignore these two guys. What I did also here, I just uniformly scaled them all here. Okay, on the other side, I have a grid 50 by 50, and I scatter the points over the grid. I just set the relax iteration to 1 to get more chaotic position of the points. Okay, let's see how we achieve our goal to randomize this geometry over this terrain. As you already know, we have to have unique names for every geometry, source geometry. I will achieve this guy with assemble node. If you're not familiar with this assemble or with what these packing guys are doing, I will do in my upcoming tutorial one tutorial about the mysterium around the packing, where I will explain what a packing is and which node you can use for your setup. Be patient with me, and I will do it for you in upcoming tutorial. But let's just come back here I will use first the assemble node. What assemble node does, it just look at the connectivity of this merged geometry and create unique name. And you see we have here some prefix. It will just give at a piece 0, piece 1, piece 2, piece 3. In our case, we have 10 geometries here, or 10 objects here. It will go from 0 to 9. Let's see if you connect this guy to assemble. If you look carefully in the geometry spreadsheet, under the primitive, you will get these attributes, name attributes. Okay, great. Now we have to have on the points the same names, randomized names, but in this range from 0 to 9. For this, I will use this attribute from pieces node. And as you see here, we have two inputs. The first input is geometry library, and the second is our points. And if you look at here, what you will see, you will get now on the points this unique name attribute, randomized unique name attribute, because we have here 100 points. And if you look carefully here, it goes from 0 to 9. It stays in range from 0 to 9. Okay, now we have our unique names here and unique names on the points, randomized unique names. And now I use the copy to point node. Copy to point. And you see here the first input is the geometry. It will go from this guy here. And the second is the point. As you see here, we have now everything on the points, because as we already told you, you have to specify this name attribute, and this copy to point, just go for each point, look at the name, and just grab the corresponding geometry from the library. Okay, let's just activate this guy, and you see now you have these 10 different geometry randomized around these points. Okay, let's see how we can do it Hardway. Okay, for Hardway, we will need a little bit scripting. The easy one without scripting. Okay, now we have to first give a unique name to these guys here. For this, I will use our wrangle, because this wrangle will go through every point. In this case, we have 10 points here, as you already know, because these are packed geometries. And I will give a name. I just first comment it out. So I will say give unique unique name. Okay, let's do it. I will say as at name is equal, and now we have to specify with the sprint f vex function, sprint f, and now we like to have a string. I will stay with the default one. I will give a name, the piece, and %d is for integer. It's just like a placeholder, and now after the comma you can just say e at ptnum. It's running points. What it's actually doing now, it will create a name, piece, and this placeholder will be replaced with a running point number. If you look here on your attribute spreadsheet, you will see now we have for every point the unique name, just from 0 to 9. Okay. Let's see what we can do with this scattered points here. I will use also the wrangle. And I just put my points inside the first one. And what I do here, I take these points and put in the second input. Why I need this? Because I like to just count how many objects I have inside here. First thing first, I like to ask how many objects come inside the second input. For this, I will use integer variable. I just say object num, and it will be, I just use the point expression because I like to count the, sorry, it will be endpoints. This text function, we just count the number from incoming input. In my case, this is input number 1 because we just always count. The first one will be 0, 1, and I say here just 1. And I print it out for you first. I just say printf. I always forget T here. Printf, and I just print this guy. I'll say here percentage D here, and I will say here print the object num. Let's say object num. Okay, as you see here, if you click here, you will see we have 10 guys here because it's just taking here 10 objects and give me the 10 here. Okay, the next thing we have to randomize the names. For this, I need the random number going from 0 to 9. Let's just comment it. Get objects amount from the first input. The first input. Okay, great. Now the second will be create random number in range from 0 to, in my case, will be object amount. Object amount. Okay, great. How to do this? First, let's create the random number based on our ptnum. I would say it will be float. I just say rand. It will be, I use rand vex function, and I give here e at ptnum, and I also multiply it by, I will create first maybe here I will do create seed slider, okay, and I would say here float seed is equal channel f. I use vex function and I name the channel seed. Okay, and now I put the seed also here. You can do also integer if you want. Let's do integer for this. Integer, and I just do here channel integer, and I just multiply by seed, close the parentheses, and I have now a random number. If you want to see what it's doing, just print the random number here. Just copy this guy and just put it here. And what I do here, I like to use a new line here. And now you see it print for every point the same number because we have to activate the seed and put a little bit here, seed 1. And you see now we have, I just cleared now, for every point we have a random number. Okay, what I like to do now, I like to first just fit this random number between 0 and object number, because object number will be 10. Let's do this. I just say another float, I will say here fit. It will do, I will say here fit 01, because our random number is going from 0 to 1 out of this random function. That's why I'll use here feed 0, 1. And I will say this random. Now I like to have it between 0 and number of the objects here. I just copy this guy here. Just put it here. Close parenthesis, semicolon, and let's just see what the feed does. You see now, if you clear it and click it, now you see it gives you the numbers between 0 and 9. It never goes beyond. But what I like to do here, I like to just change it to, because I need a number, I don't need a float, because I need just this guy without this decimal points here, or decimal numbers here after this point here. What I like to do here, I just convert it to integer. I would say here int num is equal, I use int function here, and I just say, okay, just convert this feed into an integer num. And let's print this guy now. I just say num here, I just clear it for you, and I click it here, and you see now you have numbers going from 0 to 9. Perfect. Now I create the names for this. I just copy and paste this guy because we already have here. I just copy this one here, and I bring it here, and I paste it here. And instead of pdnum, I put a number here, num. Okay, great. Then let's print the name. I just copy this one, and I just print this one here. I can comment it out, but I like to have here, I just say it will be percentage s here, and I say here name. Or the simple way would be, we just get rid of this because we don't need this. And you see here, if you look at your geometry spreadsheet, you will get the name from piece 0 to piece 9. Okay, great. Now we have the same thing. Also here we have our unique name of the object here, and randomize names in range from 0 to 9 here. Let's create copy to point, same thing here. The geometry goes here and the points inside the second input. By default, you will see, you will get the same thing that we got here, and you have to specify the piece attribute here, and now you have the randomization with the Hardway. Okay guys, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this tutorial, just subscribe and stay with me. See you in the next one. Bye.